Okay, first things first. I'm going to flash the reference photo on the screen so you can take a screenshot if you want to follow along. Now, let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing that I want to point out is that you'll see me pretend to draw the general shape of my sketch without actually adding any lines, and this is just going to help me get an idea of the scale at which I want to draw. As you can see, all of these sketches are a little larger than the ones that I've previously done, so I just want to make sure that I was going to fill the space properly. Now, the reason why I've been drawing everything slightly larger is to give me a little more room to color. And as I've mentioned previously, I've been using these sketches to help me kind of practice and study coloring techniques. And as you'll see on this sketch, after we get into the coloring, I make a lot of bad decisions regarding coloring, and I'll talk through each one as I make them. But for now, what I'm doing is drawing out my building. And as you may have noticed, I like to start with my primary lines first and then work my way into the detail. You'll notice that I'm using my fountain pen on this drawing. I have previously released a video where my fountain pen failed completely on me, and this was the drawing that happened right before that. Now, thankfully, I didn't run into too many issues on this one with my fountain pen, but I guess I decided to save all those issues when I get to the coloring. Okay, as you see me start to draw the roof lines here on the building, you'll notice that I'm approaching it from the bottom of my page. That is to say that I'm a very strong advocate for making sure that you position your hand properly when drawing lines. It really just helps to promote a nice, clean line. Similarly, you can see that I'm also approaching the texture on these garage doors from the bottom as well. Okay, as I start to wrap up the detail and move over into coloring, I want to talk about the issues that I'm going to run into. And the first thing you're going to see me do is my normal process for these experiments, which is just to put down my shadow layer. In fact, you'll see me add a few layers of shadows as I try to build up some extra dimension, simply by layering my color. I will also be using the layering techniques to help me blend my colors in order to achieve colors that are more accurate to my reference photo. This is definitely a technique that requires practice, but as you'll see in this sketch, it doesn't go so well for me, and this is definitely where things went wrong. Visually, I'm observing that my reference photo has a little bit of blue in it, and my mistake was that I went right for that blue and I chose a rich blue color. In reality, what I should have done is started with a lighter, softer color and built my way up to introduce blue, but instead I accidentally started with the boldest color first, which limited my ability to push that color into different directions. Now, after my first pass at the blue, it doesn't look horrible right now, but don't worry, I'll make sure to make a mess of things as we go on. So what went wrong was that I started to make the mistake of trying to fix it, which just kept making it worse. The first thing that I did was to use the clear marker in hopes to push that color back and make that blue appear lighter. Using the clear marker caused the paper to get heavily saturated with alcohol, so you'll see me move on to address different areas while I'm trying to let that building color dry. In fact, at one point, you'll see me test the page with my hand just to see if it was still saturated. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking that I can hit that color up again with another pass of the clear marker to hopefully lighten it up a little more. Of course, I'm fighting an uphill battle at this point, and I'm just making the colors bleed together in an ugly way. The clear marker can be a great blending tool, however, when it's overused, you do get some really bad blotching in your blending. Another thing you might notice is that the heavy blue color kind of took out my shadows. So in order to fix that, I'm going to go ahead and do an additional pass with my shadows and introduce more contrast to my building. I'm really going from bad to worse at this point. I've overworked the colors, and all of those layers of colors have faded my line work. The only thing that I can think of at this point to finish my drawing is to find a way to bring that line work back. So I am going to take one last pass with my fountain pen to make everything pop. And as I walk away from the sketch with a lot of lessons learned, I hope you've learned a little bit about my mistakes, about what not to do as well. Here's my final image, and if you haven't already, please give this video a like and subscribe.